Before we begin, I'm going to go ahead and say that this video is going to be absolute trash, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Okay, I've been pretty unprepared for the last couple of months, but I think I'm finally at a point where I can go ahead and make a video to teach you how to turn this into this. So, let's go ahead and get started. A lot of this has been accumulated over the last couple of months, where I've done just little tweaks here and there where I've had the time. You'll notice I've done this. I've made padded floors underneath the panels. I've gone ahead and welded that bar, because see, these naturally, let me pull this off. These naturally out of the factory come like this. I don't know if that's so that you can always get these bars mounted properly or what, but by welding the base here, you can make it really nice and stiff. You don't even have to weld the bars themselves to the mount, but just welding the mount so that it doesn't wiggle around like that can eliminate a lot of the noise problems that you're going to have with these pads. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started. So for the older pads and the older panels, you're probably going to line the corners underneath the brackets with something like some weather stripping. And the newer pads with these, you're going to go ahead and remove those screws. And you're going to use those countersunk ones that I demonstrated in one of the other videos. And you're going to line the edge right there with these little suckers. Super easy to place on. Now, these are the screws that I recommended previously for the new style of panels, just because it gives it less room to wiggle. But if you use these countersunk screws, you can seat those on there just like that. Super easy, and results don't lie. Now, along with welding the bar mounts so that it doesn't wiggle anymore, if you look down here, you'll see that I've actually applied a high-density weather stripping underneath here between the frame itself and the bar mount. This will eliminate a lot of the creaking that you'll hear when you wiggle those older pads. Well, when you wiggle the older bars. And along with that, I've actually wrapped the inside of this, where the bar mounts, with electrical tape. Doing this, I actually don't even need to use screws just because it's such a snug fit at the moment. But it makes a world of difference when you go from that to that. So, yeah. Weather stripping I use is very basic foam weather stripping tape. If you want thickness specifics, there you go. But you just run a little strip along the base. If you look at these photos right now, you'll see that I've gone and lined just the outside edge at the front and the rear of the bar mount on the bottom side. And then from there, I just bolted it back down. And the compression of the bolts was just enough to create a secure fit. Afterwards, I went ahead and bought a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and I had it cut 80 inches by 40 inches, and then I had those cut in half to 40 inches by 40 inches. From there, I purchased a large roll of carpet. I can't remember the exact square footage that I used, but just use something that's a bit bigger than the pieces of plywood that you've purchased, and mark an outline there. You're going to want to have some overhang so that you're going to be able to cut it and fold it over, just to have a good and securely stapled down surface. I've also used construction grade adhesive that would properly secure everything just so it smooths down and doesn't bunch up when it's met with any resistance from the pads moving on them. Now, you don't have to do anything like this, it's completely optional, but I opted for it specifically because the leg levelers on my pad are pretty jagged and damaged, and I don't want them ruining the carpet in my apartment.